All right, thanks for joining us today. This is Sean with Close Contact Tactical. I got a question from a client the other day about caliber. They were new to the game, didn't understand what the different boxes meant and what the different sizes on the boxes meant. So I thought I'd do a quick little reintroduction here, pardon me, and kind of explain to the new people some of the differences. Now, there's a lot of calibers. There's a lot of different bullets. There's everything in the world you can imagine. We're just going to cover a few of the basics so that you understand what they're talking about and what to look for. All right, first things first. Caliber is defined as the distance between one side of the inside of the barrel and the other. That is caliber, okay? Inside to inside, across it. The bullet is the same diameter as the barrel opening. So on this particular gun, and we'll turn it around so you can see it, this says 357 Magnum, okay? This is a 357 Magnum round. And we know it's a 357 Magnum round because the box says the same thing as the side of the gun. 357 Magnum. Now, what does that mean? It means that this round is 0.357 inches across. It's not millimeters, it's inches. So there's two different kinds of measurements. There's caliber in inches and caliber in millimeters. The difference obviously is that some other country designed that round that wasn't American. America goes off inches, everybody else goes off metric. So 0.357 is 0.357 of an inch. Now, the 38 caliber, pardon me, and again, it'll say on the gun 0.38, okay? The 38 special, or 38, is actually the same diameter as a 0.357. The difference is, and I know their numbers don't match, so how do they match? It just is. The difference is the length of the bullet, okay? This one is just about 1.5 inches long. This one is 1/8 of an inch longer. Does that make sense? So this makes it a Magnum round because it's longer and it's longer. Okay? So that works for almost every round as far as how it works. Now here's the trick. You can shoot 38s in a 357, but you cannot shoot 357 in a 38. Because it's too big for this gun. But since this is the same diameter and just shorter round, it'll still work in a 357. I hope that answers a couple of minor questions. Now, so we understand what the size of a bullet is and we understand what it says on the box. It's starting to make a little more sense, right? Because it's in size. So let's switch over real quick to metric. So we're going to go with the 9mm. Okay, the 9mm round, again, you'll look on your gun, and somewhere on your gun, it will say cal 9mm parabellum. Okay, that's para. Now, you need to understand that Luger and parabellum are the same thing. Now, here's the trick though. Some foreign countries, 9mm may be something else. It's important that you understand that Luger and parabellum are the same thing, and that's generally what we shoot here in America. Unless you find some strange foreign gun, you'll be able to use those 9mm rounds in this gun. Okay, now this says, and it's the thing that throws everybody off all the time, this box says 9mm Luger, but it works in a 9mm parabellum. I know it's confusing. Just understand that if you have questions at the gun shop, ask the guy behind the counter. Make sure he knows what he's talking about. Okay, most of them do. 9mm Luger, 9mm Parabellum, same thing. This fires in this gun. Okay, again though, and we look at it through our centimeters and millimeters here, the width of that will be 9mm. I hope that makes sense. So the width of the barrel will also be 9mm. Now here's the trick, and you need to understand it. 380.380 is almost the same as 9mm as far as width is concerned. But the 380 round is much shorter. Do not mix them up. Okay? Just because it fits in the barrel doesn't mean it's the right round for the gun. Now I know I probably just made it even more confusing today, but you need to understand where on your gun to look to find out what the caliber is, and where on the box where to find the caliber. This here's a regular 45. Okay. Now, how do we know it's 45? Because it's a 1911 and it says 45 on it. Now, here's the trick. There's two different kinds of 45s. Well, actually there's several. One says 45 automatic. 45 automatic is the same as 45 ACP. See, it says 45 auto and 45 ACP. ACP and automatic are the same caliber. They fit in this gun. However, 45 long Colt is much bigger and will not fit in this gun. So you need to understand to do your research on your gun and make sure you buy the right ammo. Now, I've been talking about all this stuff, and I've been showing these cartridges, and I'm talking about ammo, but what I didn't do was break down one of the modern misconceptions of ammo. This is a cartridge. It consists of the bullet, the casing, the primer, and inside the powder. This is a cartridge or ammunition. That's a bullet. Okay? A bullet is just a projectile. So whenever you say I need bullets, you're going to end up with this instead of this. Now, unless you do reloading, you don't want the bullet. I had a friend call me a while back and said, hey, I've got 250 bullets for $35 at the store. I said, go take them back because you just got projectiles. He opened up the box, sure enough, it was bullets, all right. So make sure you understand, cartridges are different than bullets, okay? I know this is very basic, simple stuff, but for anybody who's done it for a while, but there are a lot of questions out there about where to find and what works in a gun. The problem is there's 1,000 variations, okay? Once again, 40 Smith & Wesson. We look on the gun, it'll say 40. There's not a magnum or a small round for a 40. A 40 is a 40 is a 40, okay? Now, here's the deal though. A magnum 40 is called a 10 millimeter. That's tricky, isn't it? 10 millimeter will not fit in a 40, but it's the same diameter. 40 caliber, remember I talked about inches versus millimeters? 40 caliber versus 10 millimeter, but that round is longer. Okay? And of course, I showed the M&P and I showed the 45. This one also, 40 Smith & Wesson. Again, 40 Smith & Wesson on the box, or on the end, it'll say 40. So if you have any more questions, you can always just email me or text me or call me. Okay, let's talk about some little, and we're going up as we go. 44 Magnum is not something we usually run around with. But if you look at the difference between a 44 Magnum round and a 9 millimeter round, you can tell that this one is going to be a lot more powerful than this one. What's funny is this one shoots almost the same speed as this one. It sounds like it doesn't make any sense. Remember, you're pushing a much bigger, heavier bullet or projectile out of it than you are this one. So I know that it sounds a little crazy, but that's the way it works. Here's a 44. Okay. Again, we look at the gun itself, and right here, 44 Magnum caliber. Okay. Now, let's move on to the rifle rounds, okay? Because I'm sure that there'll be some people asking about, well, what about my rifle? the thing with rifles is that you have many manufacturers with many different kinds of boxes. And we're going to run across the same problem we had with the 38 and the 357 in that a 223 round is the same size as a 5.56 millimeter. Again, 223 is inch measurement, right? 0.223 of an inch. 5.56 is just the millimeter size. It's the same size caliber. However, and this is the trick, if you buy a gun that is only chambered for 223, you cannot shoot 5.56 in it. It has a different length on the shoulder, on the head, for headspace. So you have to understand that you can't shoot a 5.56 round out of a 223 gun. But because it's bigger, again, just like with the pistols, 5.56 can shoot 223. Let's flip this over to where you can see where I'm talking about. Oh, I'm sorry, I covered it up with Cerakote. This is a 5.56. It will shoot 223 as well. Most ARs will. I don't know of an AR that's not chambered in the 5.56, but it's entirely possible. Check to make sure it's 5.56/223. Okay? And again, it's all about the size of the projectile and the size of the barrel. Now, again, I didn't want to get into the weeds about 400 conversations with different head spacing and different shoulders and things like that. So we're keeping it very simple today. More questions, get more answers, right? So just make sure that you comment with questions. Okay, plain old AK. Okay, this is an AKM. These are 7.62. Now here's the deal though. This is 7.62 by 39. They have 7.62 by 51, 7.62 by 54. Those are different. 7.62 by 39 only shoots in 7.62 by 39. 7.62 by 51 is the 308 round that's used in hunting rifles. Okay? So you need to understand that the AK doesn't shoot hunting rifle rounds. It shoots these 7.62 by 39. Now, you're like, well, what's 7.62 by 39? Well, it's the size of the projectile and the casing. And of course, to open up my foreign boxes, that's a short stubby round that's really wide on the caliber. Okay, see how short that is? Okay, 2 3/8 inches end to end. Again, 7.62 millimeters. So if you count that up, that's 7.62 millimeters. Make sure you don't use the wrong 7.62 in your 7.62 because there are many variations and hunting rifle round won't work in an AK. Now let's talk about a hunting rifle round. Let's look at what I use. This is a 338 Win Mag. So, .338, right? It's 30 caliber, 0.338 inches. So it's a pretty good size projectile and a big casing. Again, when you get your hunting rifle, you're going to look on it and it'll say caliber 338 Win Mag only. Make sure you recognize that that gun, that barrel will say what round you use in it. Okay? Now, in comparison to a 7.62 round, now remember, this is a .338 caliber, right? We already talked about that. This is almost another 30 caliber round, but that is quite a bit of difference in the size. Obviously, one won't fit in the other. Okay, if you have any further questions, please get a hold of me www.close-contact-tactical.com. My name is Sean DuBois, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.